What would you do if you felt the presence of the Lord Himself? One woman did, and it left her knees weak. But before I share her story, listen closely to these words. They lay the foundation for what she experienced.
Whether anyone believes it or not, one day all shall bow the knee, and every tongue shall confess to Him who sits on the throne forever and ever. As Elder Neal A. Maxwell noted, because one day every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is the Lord, why not do so now? For in the coming of that collective confession, it will mean much less to kneel down when it is no longer even possible to remain standing.
When I first heard this quote, it struck me deeply. But just a few weeks ago, something happened that brought it to life in a way I'll never forget. A sister in my ward shared an incredible experience with me. She and her husband were visiting Temple Square with some friends. They noticed extra security in several places and even saw one guard approaching them, but didn't think much of it, until suddenly she felt a powerful presence nearby. She turned around and saw President Russell M. Nelson riding in a golf cart, moving in their direction. She was stunned. She couldn't move. She said it felt as if light and power were radiating from him in a penetrating way that reached her very soul. In that moment, she was overwhelmed by the Spirit and unsure of how to respond. Should she call out to him? Should she run to meet him? Should she kneel? But her knees were already weak. She told me it felt like her body just wanted to collapse to the ground, not from fear, but from reverence, from the sheer power of the prophet's presence. And all she could do was stand there, filled with awe as the prophet slowly drove by and greeted them with a cheerful smile. As she told me this, I remembered Elder Maxwell's words and thought, if this is the effect of standing in the presence of the Lord's prophet, imagine what it will be like to stand in the presence of the Lord Himself. It will be impossible to remain standing. His glory, His majesty, His love and power will bring every soul to their knees, not because He forces us, but because His divine presence leaves us no other response. But as Elder Maxwell said, how much more meaningful is it to kneel now, to bow in faith, to confess Him now while we still can choose, to love Him, follow Him, and worship Him freely before the day comes when all will see. Then I asked myself, am I kneeling before Him and acknowledging Him as my Savior? Take a moment to pause and ponder. What does it mean to you to kneel before the Savior today? How can you choose to acknowledge Him, not just with your knees, but with your heart, your actions, and your life? Christ said, "Ponder upon the things which I have said, and ask of the Father, in my name, that ye may understand, and prepare your minds." Now close your eyes if you'd like, breathe deeply, and listen, not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Ponder quietly and allow the Lord to speak to your heart.